it was a shocker at Anfield as well, wasn't it, Crookie? But afterwards, and it's difficult when you're wheeled out to face the media. Do you feel that Virgil van Dijk didn't cover himself in glory?
Yeah, I think Roy Keane's probably right, to be honest. It came across as sour grapes. And he was genuinely annoyed. I can vouch for that because as I was in the tunnel waiting to interview the two managers, there was a confrontation between Van Dijk and Andre Onana. And I think Onana thought that Van Dijk was joking, but he definitely wasn't. And he said, "What were you doing out there? You know, thanks to you, we only played a half an hour football match." And Onana looked a little bit perplexed. So clearly, Onana had got under Van Dijk's skin. And I think that's a reflection of the fact Liverpool feel they had enough of the game to win it, but couldn't get the ball in the back of the net.
Well, that's not... Crookie, in my opinion, that's not Erik ten Hag's problem. I didn't know it was Erik ten Hag's job to entertain Van Dijk, to be honest with you. I must be missing something.
No, I think you're right. And I think a few non-Manchester United fans were dishing out some stick last night. Is this how far Manchester United have fallen? They have to go to Anfield and try and just play out a 0-0 draw. I think a lot of teams are going to go to Anfield and do that. They've lost one of their last 50 Premier League home games. United have only won there 3 times now in the last 18 attempts. So they've had issues at that particular ground, even back to the glory days under Sir Alex Ferguson. I think it's a fantastic point for Manchester United, having lost 7-0 there last season, having been dumped out of Europe in quite embarrassing circumstances, that they showed a different side to their game, the ability to dig in, the ability to fight for each other. I thought the two centre-halves, Varane and Johnny Evans, were terrific. I thought young Kobbie Mainoo in midfield produced a really mature performance. So certainly it was the Manchester United fans who were much happier at full time than their Liverpool counterparts. And it was an opportunity missed for Liverpool, an opportunity to go back to the top of the table they didn't take.
I'll be honest with you, Crookie, I thought both sides were pretty poor. Van Dijk was wrong when he said we were superior in all aspects. Well, they weren't superior in putting the ball in the back of the net, were they? That's for sure. And you heard Jurgen Klopp say he's really pleased with the way things are going so far. But should he be? Because the last 2 or 3 games, they've not been playing brilliantly, have they? Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, well, I'm not sure they're making the impact that he would have hoped when he brought them in.
No, I thought Szoboszlai was really disappointing. In particular, Gravenberch picked up an injury. And actually, I looked at that Liverpool midfield before the game and thought, well, that doesn't look particularly strong considering they've had this rebuild in the summer. And actually, speaking to Liverpool fans, they were telling me that we're in a little bit of a false position, really. If you look at our performances, we're not actually playing that well. And I guess that came to pass in many ways because, yes, they had 13 corners, they had all the possession, they had 33 goal attempts. But I think Onana's really only had 2 fairly routine saves to make. The one from Van Dijk in the first half when he tipped it behind for a corner, and then from Salah with a shot across the face of goal in the second. They really struggled to create clear-cut opportunities. And you have to say, City having dropped points, Liverpool will be disappointed. And I think they're going to have to play a lot better than that if they are to win the Premier League. Maybe you could argue perhaps they're ahead of schedule. You know, did they expect to be this close to top spot at nearly the halfway stage of the season when they completely changed their midfield? Maybe not, but yeah, I didn't think Liverpool were great, to be honest. The atmosphere was flat as well, surprisingly.
Crookie, where were you in the sending off, Dallas sending off?
At the time, I thought he was stupid, but watching it again last night, I'm not convinced you can see that as double dissent. I think it's the same act of dissent. He's clearly unhappy that he didn't win the throw-in. I think it was a Manchester United throw. I think the referee's got to use a little bit of common sense there. I don't think he needed to send him off.
I'm actually with you, believe it or not. It'll be interesting to see what Jeff thinks. I think my initial reaction was absolute gross stupidity, and I stand by that. However, I think the referee could have maybe had a quick word with him.
Maybe, but if you're going to say that Michael Oliver should have used some common sense, so too should Diogo Dalot have shown some common sense. I think what people are pointing the finger at as well is that earlier in the game, Darwin Núñez, you know, he not only did he clatter into Johnny Evans, but he then sarcastically applauded the officials and kicked the ball away and didn't get a second yellow card.
Consistency again.
That's what the argument is, consistency really, rather than anything else.
TalkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.